Hello Steelers, and welcome to another bench report, another hobby update. And this week I have mostly been painting infantry, again the Epic Warlord Infantry. I'm just really trying to get those box sets finished at this point, and that's kind of my big goal at the moment. These are the penultimate infantry battalions for both the British and the French from those starter sets. And the first ones are the 1st Battalion of the 8th Regiment of Ligier, so the light infantry for the French. These guys are all in their tunics. I'm going to do a grey coat unit as well for the last infantry battalion that I've got for the French, but these ones I did them in their tunics, and they've obviously got some blue trousers on as well, some white trousers in there, just to mix things up a little bit and just to make it look a bit different on the battlefield. But it's quite a nice little unit. But yeah, they were fun to paint, as have all these battalions been really. And as I say, I've literally got one more French battalion at the moment before I dive into anything else, and then I'm going to be painting the cuirassiers as well, because I've been saving those as a little treat for myself, because they're my favourite French cavalry units. So I'm just hanging on to those just until the last minute. They're going to be the last things painted. I do have some French guns that need painting, so I'll probably do those as a batch over the next week or so. That's the idea. Can't remember how many exactly there is, but there's a mix of field and also horse artillery as well in there, which I just need to get those painted. Sorry, foot artillery, not field artillery. The British, I also painted a battalion of the 2nd KGL, the King's German Legion. So these guys are similar to the 1st KGL that I did before. And I'm also going to paint a 4th battalion of KGL as well. Not the 3rd or the 4th battalion, but it will be the 3rd one that I painted. So I'm going to have 3 battalions of KGL in the army. These can be used probably as veteran troops quite nicely, or grenadiers or something different, you know, slightly better than the normal line troops. But again, these were nice and easy paint. And I actually painted both of these battalions, the French and the British, and I used a spray gun as well on the uniforms, on the red and on the blue, just as a tester, and it worked really well. An airbrush, sorry, not a spray gun. And it worked really well. So it might be something that, you know, although I'm like 90% finished on these, it might be something I do with the Prussians when I start those, just to speed things up a little bit. It really works very quickly, much quicker than doing it by brush at least. In the post, I've had nothing apart from a really useful box. I'm currently waiting for some Warlord inserts to go in these. These will probably turn up later on today while I'm recording this on Friday. But I realise that I have now outgrown the 2 really useful boxes that I bought for the Epic stuff. They are really squeezed at the limits at this point, and I've got quite a lot more to go back in, so I'm kind of just going to put some of the bits and pieces into these as well, so that'll just help. So really useful boxes, always very good for storage, and relatively cheap as well if you can get hold of them. As for games, the only game that I played was down at the club on Thursday night, which is last night, speaking as I'm recording this, and that was with Alex and Dex, another Alex. We now have 3 Alexes at the club, so that one is Alex cubed. I'm of course Alex 1. What else would I be? But we played GDA 2. Dex and I were going to play Arcs, but Alex had requested on the Facebook group of the club if there was anybody who could play Epics. So Paul had approached me and said, do you mind stepping in and bringing some of your Epics down? I said, yeah, of course not, no problem at all, let's do it. And we meant that Dex and Alex both got a learning game of GDA 2, General d'Armée 2, which is fantastic, and it was a really good game. Dex was playing the attacking French, Alex was playing the defending British. It was just an infantry battle, just to really get everybody used to kind of the flow of the game and just how things work in there with the ADCs and the initiative and the orders and all those kind of things, the taskings and stuff. But Dex's French came on in the same old way. They came in as an armoured fist in the centre, and they actually did punch a massive hole in Alex's central defence. Dispersed 2 battalions by forcing them to retire off the table, to which Alex then had to release his reserves, which basically meant that Dex was then free to release his reserves wherever he wanted, knowing where Alex's were as well. Unfortunately for Alex, his reserves are right on the edge of the table, and we got to a point where it had gone nearly 10 o'clock and we just said, okay, we're going to wrap up here. But we'd gone through about, I lost count, but it was somewhere between maybe 6 and 8 turns in the evening. That's the thing with GDA 2. It does take quite a long time, and the guys were both learning the game as well, so it took a little time to explain some of the rules and intricacies and things, and just get used to stuff. But once we'd gone through quite a few turns, both of them picked it up really quickly. They understood what they were supposed to be doing with their ADCs, how they were tasking them, that kind of thing, and it really sped the game up. It's a game that, yeah, really deserves playing it again and again. We had a couple of questions really about how to use artillery, because it's although I've been interested in the Napoleonic period, since I was a nipper, playing games of it at this level is something I've not really done that often until relatively recently. So there was a question really about artillery, about how to use it, and it felt a little bit underwhelming. But I spoke on the Facebook group for GDA 2, and Scott Driscoll from Check Your Leader channel, who's done loads of stuff on GDA 2, was one of the playtesters, I think, down in Australia. He explained very kindly and very nicely about how how to use the artillery basically, and it's you spend 3 or 4 turns more maybe softening up the infantry before you send anybody in. Don't just start piling forward, because there's just no point. So it's something I'm going to take on board for my next game. It's something that I didn't take on board for the game that will be coming out on the channel soon, so you will see that at some point. But it's something I'm going to take on board in future and have a think about from a tactical point of view. So yeah, interesting game, fantastic game. In fact, I really enjoyed it, and as I say, it does speed through pretty quickly once you get used to it. Even though there's quite a lot of little nuances here and there within the rules, it's worthwhile playing and just teasing out those layers of it. Fantastic stuff. And kind of speaking of and keeping within the realm of YouTube and also Napoleonic gaming as well, I wanted to give a shout out to Mini Agnostic channel. They mentioned me in one of their videos, but that's not why I'm doing a shout out. For some reason I'd only just stumbled across their stuff the other day, and they do some really good video essays on wargaming and some of the aspects of wargaming as well. They're currently doing a Napoleonic project. I think they're looking at the Prussians, and they're just kind of putting it together, and got some really good videos just on how to put together Napoleonic armies for wargaming, and different basing sizes and that kind of thing. They're really interesting videos, and they're really well produced. I can't believe that I'd missed them before. I'm urging you now to get over there. I'll put a link in the description down below as always. Go on over and check them out, and hit that subscribe button as well. Just give their channel a bit of a lift. There's a really good video on abstraction in wargaming that I really enjoyed. It was quite a deep dive into some theoretical wargaming side of things. It's really interesting about how we abstract games and that kind of thing, and it's well worth however many minutes of your life it is. 15 minutes, I think, 15-20 minutes. It was really good. So yeah, go and check them out and give them a little raise in the profile. Really good channel. And also, just a little bit of news. I think you've probably seen at this point now that Warlord Games have announced that they're doing the American War of Independence. It has come out to mixed interest by the looks of it. A lot of people are quite interested in it. Some of the purists are saying that you can only use some of the figures in the early war. Warlord did get in touch with me and asked me if I'd be interested in looking at some of these things for the channel. So I'm kind of waiting for them to send me some of their stuff through, and I will do some box openings and a look at the stuff. It's not really a period I know much about, but it's something that I think it kind of fits in with the channel anyway, so I thought it might be something that people probably are interested in. So as soon as that stuff turns up, I will do some reviews and looks of it as well, but don't expect a deep historical dive into those things, because I'm really no expert at all. But it's just something that's coming, so keep an eye out for that. And I'll leave it at that, and I will say thank you very much for watching as always. If you don't mind, hit the subscribe button down below, hit the like button, leave me a comment, let me know what you've been up to this week, and I will see you in the next Storm of Steel video.